Dan Blewett here. Common question that I get, where should I set up on the rubber? So basically there's a couple options. Number one, there's obviously infinite options if you really slice it up, but you could be all the way to this side, you could be all the way to this side, or you could be pretty much in the middle. Those are pretty much the three choices that most guys have. Most guys don't have much of a reason between being here and here. They might be, but in general it's which side or in the middle, right? So there's going to be pros and cons to all of it, but the way to think about it is this. Number one, if you're all the way to this side, and I'm a righty, so we'll just use righties as examples here, because obviously it'd be the converse if you're a lefty. But if I'm all the way to the right side as a righty, I'm going to have more deception, number one, because I'm going to be becoming behind a righty more than I would if I was down the middle or on the other side, right? This, especially if I'm a low guy, this is going to be like kind of behind his ear right now, okay? So that being said, I'm going to have to be better at trying to get the ball all the way to the glove side of the plate, glove side, arm side, and it's going to be a lot harder for me to reach all the way out there. I'm going to have to be really, really good staying closed and really, really good holding on to the ball to drive it all the way to the glove side against a righty if I'm all the way on this side of the plate. Other thing to consider is that my breaking ball, the sharpest version, is the one you catch out in front, like all the way out in front. Anytime you start to throw them farther, so if I'm over here and I throw a curveball that breaks like backdoor to a lefty, I'm going to have to be a little bit behind that curveball so that it starts here and breaks over that edge of the plate. When I'm all the way on this side of the plate, my best curveball is going to be the one that breaks over the middle of the plate, right? Because I'm catching it all the way out in front here, and this is not lined up with the plate. So if I'm pulling it back over the plate and I catch it for a breaking ball, it's going to break basically down the middle. So my sharpest version is down the middle, and it'll get even sharper as I start to throw it away. However, it's going to be tough for me to get it down, and it's going to be tough for me to get it to the glove side part of the plate with my breaking ball. So my sharp version is going to be in the middle, but it's also going to be really tough to have an improved version farther away to righties or down into lefties. Over here, if I'm throwing a breaking ball, my down the middle version is not going to be as sharp because I have to kind of stay behind it a little bit longer to get it to start out over here, because I'm basically trying to start on a trajectory that way so that it comes back over the middle of the plate. It's a very different initial start than over here. So my pitch down the middle for a called strike is not going to be as sharp as if I was over here. That being said, it's going to be really easy for me to put guys away and throw a really sharp and well-located version that's on the glove side third of this plate, because I can easily, boom, get right out in front and break it off the plate away to a righty or into a lefty. So it's going to be a little easier for me to throw my best version, my sharpest version down and breaking off the plate if I'm on this side, but it's going to be giving me a little sloppier version down the middle of the plate. If I'm throwing a changeup that has a lot of sink and run, or I throw a sinker and I'm all the way over here, pro is that my standard version that's like right down the middle is going to really break into a righty's ankle. It's going to like really bite down in. However, if I'm going away or into a lefty, I'm going to have to hold on to that pitch so long that it's probably not going to sink and it's not going to run very much. The longer you hold on to a pitch, the less, like if I'm releasing it here, how can I still get to the inside of it to kind of turn that pitch over and get that arm side movement? If I'm all the way over here, I can very easily roll over that sinker, and I have tons of plate for it to work with where it's going to break over and still be a called strike. And anything on this side, when I'm throwing a sinker or a changeup, it's going to have a lot of movement. Over here, I'll have a lot of movement on this half of the plate, not much on that half of the plate. And a lot of these pitches that I'll throw here to lefties will just run off the plate and they won't be swingable because they'll start too far over this way. So there's pros and cons with all of it. If I'm a good down the middle pitcher and I want to be inside to righties a lot over here, I'm going to have a much easier time pounding the inside part of the plate to righties. If I'm over here and I want to go inside to a righty, I kind of have to leave it behind my body just a little bit to get it all the way over there, because I'm trying to come across the plate that way as opposed to being, boom, straight, kind of lined up with the glove side third of the plate over here. So for me, there's pros and cons. If you're a slider guy, a lower arm slot guy, a deception guy, you're probably better served over here, just as long as you're okay with the fact that you're going to give up a little bit of your ability to locate to the glove side part of the plate. But you're going to do really well inside, and you're going to do really well throwing deceptive sliders that come back over the plate at guys. If you're a sinker guy or a changeup guy, you're probably a little better off on this side of the plate because you'll have more forgiveness, more of the plate to work with as the ball shoots this direction. And then if you're, and this is obviously going to make it easy to be away to righties and into lefties, and it's going to be a little tougher to be into righties and way to lefties over here. So for a lot of people, the down the middle might be the best of both worlds because you're just sort of taking the pros and the cons and the pros and the cons and sort of blending them where you're like, okay, I'm in the middle, so my best version of my curveball is going to be kind of maybe outer third or outer half, and I'll still be able to throw a back door, or I'll still be able to throw a front door. You can kind of do it both ways. I can kind of locate, I'm not going to locate better to one side because of where I am, but I can have the ability to be close where I don't have to be way behind my body to throw into a righty or way out in front to throw into a lefty. So for me personally, when I pitched, I had sort of an evolution where I tinkered, and I felt the most comfortable being down the middle. I'd been on both sides, and I was naturally very good at arm side pitcher. I was not a very good glove side pitcher, so if I went all the way over here, I'd basically be down the middle all the time trying to go away to guys. So for me being here, it gave me a little advantage of being able to get away from righties a little bit better and into lefties a little bit better, but I was such a good pitcher inside to righties that I didn't want to go all the way over here and make that pitch tougher for me to hit. Because I was never like a away kind of pitcher, I was always an inside, aggressive kind of pitcher. And for me, being in the middle allowed me to have my best versions of my breaking ball, which was a little more 12-6 and 1-7, and I still had enough of my changeup that had a lot of sink and run, where if I threw it down the middle, it would still play and stay on the plate if I wanted it to. So there's a lot of pros and cons, but just think about the way your arsenal works, what kind of pitcher you are, and how much of the plate you need to work with, and what pitches you really need to make to be successful, and that will help you determine where you should set up on the rubber.